All right, YouTube. Take two. It helps if you turn on your microphone before you start babbling. Because, well, guess what I didn't do? I did not turn on my microphone. Um, yeah, Michael, I just restarted it. So sorry about that. I'm a chucklehead. I went on this whole rant about Best Buy and everything. In my experience, I just bought a new monitor, LG ultra wide gaming gear monitor. I don't game on the PC. I'm a Mac user. I don't need, well, I do have a PC, but it's in the 3D print room, and I use it for 3D printing. I don't use it for the Mac. It's a Lenovo. I really like it. Windows 11. It's pretty sharp, but it's a little small form factor desktop. It's slightly bigger than the Mac Mini, but it's really nice. But anyway, I went on this huge rant about Best Buy, talking for a good 5 minutes, and then I noticed over on my audio monitor that it wasn't, I didn't see any peaks. And I was like, that's weird. So I scrolled over a little more and saw the mic was off. I'm like, oh my God. So I looked down at my mic right here. You can see the light. I looked down at the mic and realized that it wasn't turned on. So I'm a big dummy. Man, you can't make this stuff up. So I don't know if anybody's in the chat. I will say if the Moonbeam people behind this are watching, it would be nice to see. It says 3 people are online right now, so I don't know what that means. So it would be nice if there was some way we could tell, like in the current stream, how many people are watching or whatever. But it says I'm streaming now. I got my mood lights for Christmas. My wife got me those. They're all different dice. It's a D20, a D10, a D8, a D6, a D4. And they've got little LED lights inside of them. Super cool. I love them a lot. It was my Christmas present from my wife, and it's beautiful. Man, my beard's getting long. And I love it. And they're awesome, and I'm really enjoying them. So I keep looking over here because this is my stream, or this is my OBS, and that is my Moonbeam. So it's a 10-second delay. I should be up looking at the blue lights of the camera instead of paying attention. But I'm a narcissist and love to look at myself. I don't know why. I'm ugly as you know what, but hey, my wife loves me, and that's all that matters. We just celebrated 15 years. 2020, got married in December of 2010. So yeah, man, 15 years. Wow. 5 more and I get parole. Anyway, tonight's video du jour is we're going to talk about Modiphius Infinity, the RPG. I am going to look at this monitor. The nice thing about my setup now is I don't have as horrible of a glare. That's pretty bad, but this is Infinity RPG. This is a chunky boy. This has got, I think this has, no, this one doesn't have ribbons, and I thought it did. It's got a bookmark in it from when I was reading it, but this book has seen a little wear and tear. I've flipped through it quite fondly. It is 528 pages, full color, printed on a semi-gloss paper. It's kind of on the thin side, but it hasn't ripped, it hasn't sheared. The book's the book binding is holding up well. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a Smithsonian binding, as you can see. It's glued and stitched, and then of course it's got the inner sphere and everything. That's the little cosmic map or whatever, the human sphere. You can still hear the glue cracking and stuff because I don't open it that much. But it uses the 2D20 system by Modiphius. So if you've played Conan or Mutant Chronicles or John Carter, Warlord of Mars, what else? Dishonored, Fallout. If you've played any of those games, then you are familiar with the mechanics. If you don't know what Infinity is, and yet it looks familiar, that logo of Infinity with the big N, that's because this is based off of the tabletop RPG Infinity by Corvus Belli, a Spanish company out of, I think, Spain or Portugal, Belize. I think they're out of Spain. I don't know. Maybe it says in here. The cool thing about this is this game started as a tabletop RPG that the guys were playing in the office when they were, it was at War. I want to say Warcrow. They had a small metal miniatures company that they produced basically fantasy miniatures, and they were playing a fantasy RPG. I don't know if it was D&D or Pathfinder or what, or GURPS. I don't know what the mechanical system was, but they made their own world in Infinity. And so they had all of this data, all this information, and they decided to they started printing miniatures for their own game. Gwydion, thank you, buddy. I got some moonstones. I don't know how that works. Who dat? That's Mr. Mean. Thank you, Gwydion. Gwydion has a very cool channel called RPG Frequencies. Highly recommend you go check it out. He's the one who got me into Moonbeams. He's also a meanie, which is what we call our Discord members and our YouTube channel members. So go follow Gwydion on RPG Frequencies on YouTube. He's also here on Moonbeam. And like I said, he sent me an invite to allow me to stream on his channel. I never took advantage of it because it was still burgeoning and it wasn't there yet. It wasn't ready. And Moonbeam's got a ways to go yet, but it is getting better. I do like the interface. There's a couple quibbles. I'm not a huge fan of Google anymore just because of their practices and the data mining and everything they do. So I'm looking at alternatives to get away from YouTube. But Moonbeam's not big enough yet, especially for a small channel like mine. But hopefully it's going to grow and it's going to get bigger. And as people get tired of these corporate shills and YouTube and all of that, they'll maybe move over to Moonbeam because it's a pretty cool platform. But yeah. So yeah, go follow Gwydion on RPG Frequencies. It's a cool channel. He plays a lot of like solo games and stuff like that. And he's a pretty cool guy. And he's helped me out and answers a lot of good questions. He's an audiophile. He's a dad. He's a streamer. And he's an RPG solo player. So if you dig solo RPGs, go check out his stuff. It's pretty cool. Anywho's, Modiphius's Infinity, the role-playing game. Like I was saying, this is based off of a home campaign that the guys at Corvus Belli ran in their office while they were working on their miniatures, and it burgeoned into a business. They were already selling. I believe it's Warcrow. Yeah, Gwydion, the book is super cool. This is Infinity, based off of the tabletop miniatures game by Corvus Belli, produced by Modiphius. This is the role-playing game that uses the 2D20 system, so similar to Conan and Mutant Chronicles and all of the 2D20 based games. Fallout, which is another cool game. Go check that one out if you guys haven't seen it, and I do have it. But anyway, today in the mail, now I did not get to back the Kickstarter, or I did back the Kickstarter for this, and I got I did the core book, the GM screen, and all of the splat books in PDF. That was one of the specific tiers they had, because I wanted the core book, I wanted the GM screen. They had to get more stuff, but at the time I was unemployed for a while, and I had just started working. I didn't have the money to go, balls deep and back it. So I wanted the hard book, but they did have a tier where you could back and get all of the PDFs plus a physical copy of the core book and the GM screen, and that's what I did. And I want to say it was a little bit right at $100. It wasn't terrible, and for me it was worth it. I do have all of the PDFs. As of right now, I have every book except for 2. I am missing the Yu Ching and the Human Sphere book, and I think I actually do have the Human Sphere book up there. I'll have to double check. But I was missing Toha, the Combined, Aleph, and the Nomads. These are all factions in the game. In the miniatures game, you pick a faction and you assemble their miniatures. What sets them apart from a lot of other hobbies like Warhammer 40K or I'm trying to think of another modern sci-fi miniatures game, but I can't. Mantic, is that their miniatures are metal and they have a very high quality, very crisp, very clean, very easy to clean and put together, and the models paint up phenomenal. But a lot of people are intimidated by metal miniatures. I am not, and like I said, they clean up really well, and you just treat them like any other miniature. You just have to technically use a metal file instead of the spongy paper ones, because they'll fall apart if you get too rough with them. But a metal file, and they've been selling metal files, real small ones, for years, because the miniature hobby, before it turned into injection mold plastic, it was all Iridium and or lead. Well, it was lead first, and then they moved to Iridium, which is a tin based, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so the miniatures game, you choose a faction and you build and or paint, if you can, the models, and you play this miniature game, and it's a cool miniatures game. The role-playing game is based in that world. So I also have the GM screen, which is pretty solid. It's a quad fold GM screen. I don't know if I'll be able to get it all on the camera here, but yeah, you can see it. It's a super cool screen, lots of pertinent GM information. The screen's a little bit on the thin side. I would have liked it to have been thicker, and I said that in my initial review. You can go on YouTube and watch all of my reviews of all the products. But I'm happy that I'm a Nomad player in the Infinity Miniatures game. I play Nomad and I play Combined. Combined are the aliens. They're run by an alien AI, artificial intelligence, and they are consuming everything in their path, on this path to become omnipotent, I guess, and be the only ruler in the galaxy. In Infinity, they're up to the core rules now, are up on their 5th edition. It just came out late last year, early this year. In Infinity 5, or in 5 as it's called, this is based on Infinity 3, 4. So the factions are they're pretty aligned, but there's been a lot of changes. But that's the cool part about the RPG, is you can still play it. You have all these splat books. I want to say these were produced in 2023. 2018, excuse me. Well, that's the 2D20 system. 2018 was the 2D20 system. I don't know when 2018 it says, for artwork and storyline by Corvus Belli. So, yeah, so 2018 was when these came out. So they're almost 7 years old now. But Nomads are my favorite faction. And so here's a splat book, if you're wondering what these little books are called in the industry. They're called splat books. And this is 118 pages of all focused on the Nomad faction. And so it's full color art. Let me see if I can find a good picture here for you. The layout is really good. Oh, there's a good one. Get my fat fingers out of the way. You can see that. Great picture. So I got the Nomad. Now I have all the factions except for Yu Ching. There is no JSA faction. That is a split off of Yu Ching. There's the Toha, which is basically an alien race that's fleeing the Combined, and they come to the human sphere to get the humans to help, because it's only a matter of time before the Combined get here and take over human sphere space. you know, so they come to help us and warn us, and they bring their technology and stuff like that. So the Toha, pretty cool. Lots of robots, lots of genetic manipulation, so to speak, and cool things like that. And by the way, these 4 Splat books I got in the mail today, which is the reason for this video, because I'm super excited about them, because the collection is almost complete. They haven't put out anything new in quite a while. Doesn't mean it's a dead game. I don't think they've lost the license. I'm hoping with the release of N5 for the miniatures game that they're going to get some sort of update. That would be super cool. Here's the Combined Army, my second favorite faction. These are the aliens. These are the big bad guys. They're not necessarily the enemy anymore in the current narrative, but in this version of the RPG, they are the bad guys. This is 105 pages, so this is pretty chunky semi-gloss paper. These are glued, but they'll hold up pretty well. The art in here is fantastic. This is dense, guys. There is a lot of information in here, as you can see. There's some, I don't know how to do that. There's some cool art. Lots of charts. This is, I think, more of a GM book. There's another super cool piece of art. This is more of a GM book, but I think players can use it because you can play combined characters. The Morats are these, like, how to describe, Neanderthals. They're red-skinned, they have white hair, and they're basically almost got the physique of a gorilla. They are just super strong, very aggressive. They're combat shock troops. Yeah, and they have cool art. But then again, another cool cover. And then Aleph is another AI. This is one of the human AIs. I think it's the only AI left. All the other AIs have been hunted down and destroyed. But Aleph works for the human sphere. It is also often referred to as a female because that's the voice it uses. It's a female voice. And she does a lot of DNA manipulating as well, a lot of robots, a lot of augmentations. So very similar to Toha, but she's not an alien. She's part of the human sphere, and she's looking out for humanity's best interest. So I'm really happy to add these books to my collection. Like I said, I'll be short 2 books, and I'm not even sure. I think I might have the human sphere. I think I just overlooked it. But, you know, the GM screen, and of course, the core rule book is amazing. These are pretty solid. I'm very happy with them. It's a 2d20 based system, so if you know the game, it's real easy. You have your attributes and a skill. Skills range, I believe, from 1 to 4, and your attributes can go anywhere from about 14 or lower. You add those 2 together, and you want to roll equal to or less than that on a d20. A 20 is always a critical failure, or what they call in this game a complication. When you roll a d20, when you roll a 20 on a d20, you invoke a complication. There are ways to re-roll and get out of it, but if you accept the complication, then you get usually extra experience, and other good things can happen. On the reverse side, or opposite side, a 1 is always a critical success. This game works on a number of successes, so you'll always roll 2d20 99% of the time. You'll roll, if you're trying to assist somebody, you'll roll a 1d20, and if you succeed, you get to add a bonus to their roll when they try to do it. But you need successes, success levels to determine if you succeed or not, and the basic success levels are 0, of course, you don't need to roll. 1, meaning out of those 2d20s, one of them needs to roll equal to or less than whatever the target number is, up to 5. 5 is nigh impossible. Now, there are mechanics in the game. There's threat and there's momentum. Momentum is the players. Players generate momentum. When the GM says you need 2 successes and you get 3 successes, then you generate 1 point of momentum because you only needed 2 successes. You can bank up to a certain amount of momentum. I believe it's 6. You can bank 6 momentum in a party pool. I know they've come out with a minor, some of the games have revised it to where it's your own personal momentum, which I kind of like as a player, but as a GM, I like the party momentum, because if I'm rolling like crap all night long and Mark is rolling really well and Mark is generating a lot of successes, then Mark's successive rolls, e.g. momentum, can help me in my bad rolls, because I might be able to use some of that momentum for automatic successes and things like that. So it's a very much a give and take. The players can buy extra dice from the GM for what's called threat. And when a player gives the GM threat, it's like the GM's version of momentum. And the GM uses that to affect special powers, to do certain things for the bad guys, to increase the situation or the tension in a dramatic scene. And it's a currency for the GM. So it's a give and take system with threat and momentum. The players generate momentum, and the GM has threat, and he can impose complications, which will give the players momentum, or the players can refuse the threat or the complication, and it will give the GM momentum, or threat, excuse me. The GM's, it's the same thing. Threat and momentum are exactly the same thing, but threat is for the GM, momentum is for the players. The players generate momentum in just about every role that they do, as far as like skill and task and attribute roles, and the player gets threat by putting situations on the players, and the players you can always buy dice from the GM. If you don't have enough momentum in the pool, you're making a combat roll and you really need to hit that bad guy, and you're pretty sure he's behind cover, he's got good armor, and it's, there's an obscuring mist in the way. So you can buy, for every 2 momentum you give the GM, you can get a D20, you can get an extra die, up to a maximum of, I believe it's 5 dice. You can never roll more than 5 dice. You always start with 2, which means the max you can buy from the GM is 3. So you could give the GM 6 threat. If I remember correctly, it's 2 threat per D20. And at that point, the GM starts the game with X amount of threat per player in the game. I believe it's 2. It may only be 1, though. It's been a while since I've ran this. I'm actually going to start brushing up on it, because I'd like to run it for the meanies on my Discord. And now that DD Dice, thank you, Gwydion, again, DD Dice has now been incorporated, or has a plugin for Discord, so you can roll real 3D dice in your Discord. And the reason that's important for me is I'm not happy with all the VTTs out there. They are not smooth enough. We're going to segue from Infinity into VTTs. The VTTs, while amazing, if you're not playing Pathfinder or D&D, and I think I'd even give Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay by Cubicle 7 and Savage Worlds, if you're not playing any of those games, your VTT options are extremely limited and kludgy at best. And depending on what you want to do, it gets more difficult as you move up the difficulty. So if you want to have miniatures and special effects like you see on either D&D or Pathfinder inside of, like, say, Foundry, you're going to be hard pressed, because the data sets are just not fleshed out. They're not where they need to be to make it a true immersive play. And of course, we all know what happened with sigils, and we're not even going to talk about that. But with Discord being a video chat option and having the ability to roll 3D dice like you can inside of Foundry or Fantasy Grounds or Roll20, if you're a theater of the mind player, or you don't mind using like a whiteboard and sharing your screen, you can pretty much do an RPG online with just Discord. And games, most of Modiphius's games use abstract measurement for distance. So It's close, near, medium, far, and extreme. Those are the range bands. And of course, each one, depending on what you're trying to do, will put certain negative modifiers on you when you're trying to shoot somebody. Or obviously, you can't fight someone unless they're near or close combat. If you have a weapon with reach, I believe you can fight someone who is near, depending on the weapon. If they're close, then it's close combat, so it's moot. But the nice part with DD Dice is you create an account. Whoever owns the server gives it permissions to work, and it's real simple. In fact, Gwydion has a video on his RPG frequencies, I believe, on how to set it up. It's super easy. But yeah, you set up that DD Dice. Basically, it's like kind of I think it's just a plug-in to Discord. You set that up, and you can roll physical dice, and it's pretty responsive. It's just as responsive as Fantasy Ground. There's a slight delay in Fantasy Ground. Gwydion says really easy. So yeah, it's super easy. It's just a couple clicks and you'll be up and running, and you can roll. And if you decide, I don't think it's a Patreon. They don't call it a Patreon. I think they just have a paid membership where you can buy. You get certain dice, or you can buy dice, so you can have your own custom dice. You can create themes and colors and schemes, but I believe you have to be a paying member for that ability, or they have a preset set of themes for the dice, so each player can have different dice in their Discord, even though they're remoted into your Discord, or they're using your Discord. So I think with that and Infinity, you could run a really good game with just Discord and DD Dice. Michael, yeah, Michael. I mean, that's awesome. Michael, you're not a follower of my realm. Join me, dude. Clearly talking about games and stuff. You're one of the nerds. Join us, man. I'd love to have you in my Moonbeam here, and of course I'll give you a follow back. But yeah, join my realm, buddy. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, so Infinity's a great game. If you haven't given it a check, you can go on Modiphius.us and you can download a free primer of the game, like a quick start, and check it out. Thank you, buddy. I'll have to follow you back. Let's see here. There, you're followed, sir. Gamers and Children Health, really? I'll have to check that out. I'm looking at your profile here. Very cool, sir. Yeah, very cool. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, go to Modiphius.us and you can download a free primer of the game, and I know I'm going to run it on Mr. Mean Speaks, my Discord, because it's a cool game, man. I mean, here's what the cover looks like if you didn't get to see it. It's a solid book that's available in PDF. All of the books, and like I said, I'm missing 2 books out of my collection. I did not collect, and typically don't collect adventures. I usually do my own adventures, so I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. Does anybody have any questions or anything else? about Infinity, the RPG, the role-playing game. I'm going to wet my whistle here. A little lemonade. I'm in Duluth, Minnesota. It's still freaking cold here. I think it was the high was 40 degrees today. Luckily, the snow is pretty much melting, but yeah, it was pretty brutal. So if nobody has any other questions, we'll probably wrap up the stream. I see 4 people online. I'm assuming one of those is Moonbeam, and the other one is Gwydion and Michael, and then me. So that's awesome. But if you are lurking, pop in the chat. Pittsburgh was glorious today. That's awesome. Hey, man, you know what? I moved up here for the snow and for the cold. I'm a polar bear. I'm in flip-flops right now in my basement. I've never been to Pittsburgh. I assume you guys have bases. You get pretty cold there as well. Yeah, first, yeah. We had a sunny, it got super sunny yesterday afternoon after about 3 o'clock. I mean, the clouds went away, but it was very overcast and windy today. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. Newens. Yeah, it definitely was a chilly day today. I typically I work out of my basement. I'm an IT monkey, and I get to work from home, which I'm blessed, and I work for a good company, so I get to work from home. So that was why I bought this giant monitor, and I gotta say I'm extremely happy with it. But it was funny. It's Scottish. Ewans. Well, it's okay. I'm from Brooklyn, so I speak Brooklynese. So the 2 Utes, or Anthony, which is funny. I have a good friend that I used to work with. His name is Anthony, and the first time I called him Anthony, because it's just habit, he was like, "You must be from New York." I was like, "Yeah." He was my boss. I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn." He goes, "Yeah, I could tell." And I say forget about it quite a bit, actually. It's one of my, and then use guys. My wife and my wife's from Louisiana, so you couldn't get a better match, man, because she says weird shit that I just look at her and I don't even understand what she's saying. But of course, every time I say sneakers, she cracks up laughing, because she's like, they're tennis shoes, and I'm like, nope. On the East Coast, tennis shoes is what you do on the court. Sneakers is what you wear out on the street. So, and we have that argument. And of course, my son is autistic, and so I say, go put your sneakers on, and he says, tennis shoes, Daddy. So, because if you know anything about autistic children, they're very literal, and he is extremely literal. So yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm digging this Moonbeam thing. I'm hoping more people come to it. Gwydion, thank you for the, what are they called? Moonstones. I don't know what the moonstones do. I know you told me, but I'm not very smart. You guys sound so funny because you don't speak it much. Yeah, oh God, when did I go back to Brooklyn? My mom died in 2013. I think I went back in I want to say 2007, 2008. Yeah, so it's been a hot minute. I don't have any family back there. My mom passed away. My mom was living. She remarried a gentleman called Mr. John Raymond. He was a super nice guy, and my mom deserved all the happiness that she had with him. But she passed away to lung cancer back in 2013. They were living in Gordo, Alabama, of all places. I'm like, and my mom's from Waco, Texas. So I guess it was okay for her. I would have never made it there. I'm a city boy, but I'm a city country boy. I like being in the country. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it comes out in certain words. When I get excited or I'm mad, it comes out quite a bit. or when I'm frustrated. I'm getting tired right now because my day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I get off work at 3. I got off at 2:30 today because I had to take my son to the doctor. He's been sick for the last day. I had to pick him up early yesterday. He was sick, and then he stayed home today. So, but he's awesome. I wouldn't trade him for the world. Well, maybe those last 2 books for Infinity, but I kid. I jest. Yeah, see, my wife says washcloth or winder. Her dad says winder, meaning the window. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And when we first got together, my Brooklyn accent was a lot stronger back then. And I remember meeting her parents. We drove down to Louisiana to meet her parents, and they live in a little town called Sulphur, just outside of Lake Charles. And her mom, born and raised in Sulphur, never left Sulphur. Her dad, same way. And talking with them, and she's of that age where she don't give a shit if you're in the room or not. And we're talking and, getting excited and having fun and being silly. And we're going out to head out to get dinner, me and Vonda, my wife. At the time, she was my girlfriend. And we're walking out the door, and she grabs Vonda's arm and she says, "He's not from around here, is he?" I'm like, I'm standing right there. I mean, come on. But it was pretty funny because she thought I talked funny. But yeah. My wife, what does my wife say? My wife says one that, the shopping cart is a shopping cart, right? To her, it's a buggy. I am basically an overpaid help desk analyst. I take calls from propane drivers to get their meter working in their trucks. We use Samsung tablets, and we troubleshoot them with Bluetooth adapters. And then on top of that, we don't have we are the desktop support, but we're spread all over the nation. We don't, the company, I mean, you can't have a viable IT department that fixes everything in every office, because we have offices all over the place. But we have a main office in Duluth, Minnesota, where I'm at right now. But earlier this year, I got a promotion, and I'm able to work from home. And so I work from home. I manage 4 states. So I'm in charge of all their IT stuff, but we just recently went away from that, and now it's just one big melting pot, and we all do everything. So there's 6 of us, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I get to, yes, very real-time IT. We have these big propane trucks, and they have meters that are monitored by the state regulatory and energy commission, and we have to make sure that they are working and not tampered with. And then we have Samsung tablets, Galaxy 10s. They're 10-inch Galaxy. I'm not a fan of them. In fact, it's right here. This is one of the Samsung tablets that we use. So, see, woohoo! It says help desk on it. We make it real simple for you to call the help desk because the drivers live by these tablets. It's how they interface with the system that allows them to pump gas from the propane tanks. So it's a cool job. Like I said, you got to know a little bit of networking. You got to know a little desktop. You got to know a little server. It's free. It keeps you sharp. And we do a lot of Active Directory. Yes, avoid the Samsung 10. I think it's a hot piece of garbage. I'm a Mac guy. I have my I don't know, my iPad. So I have 2 iPads. I have an iPad mini, and then I have an iPad Pro, the big 12 point whatever giant iPad. I love it. Yeah, and I'm on a Mac mini, and I have a MacBook Air for my travel, for when I work on a PC, Dell Toughbook, which I hate. The thing could stop a 45 round ACP, but I don't pay for it, so I am a Mac guy. Yes, I am a Mac guy. Yeah, I like my Mac. I've been a Mac fanboy. I used to work for a company in Phoenix, Arizona that was a Mac shop, and I was with them for 5 years, and then I got laid off, and then I bounced around for a little while until my mom passed away, and then we moved to, well, my wife's parents got sick, and we moved to Sulphur, and then I couldn't find work down there. There's no IT jobs down there. So we moved to Texas and I found work there, and then Hurricane Harvey hit, and then that brought me here to Minnesota because my buddy lived here and he was willing to put us up for a couple of months till we could get on our feet. And yeah, love it here. I like the cold. I love the winters. You know, we have nice snow. It's not like if you've been to Chicago where it's all slushy and dirty, and we have beautiful white powder. It's 99% of the time it's fluffy. This year there was a lot of ice because the weather, while it stayed cold, it was all, yeah, I've ping-ponged a lot. I was a military guy. I was a customs agent for 10 years. And before that, I was 10 years in the military. So yeah, I'm pushing 60. So I'm getting old. I'm tired. Everything hurts. I'm grumpy. My beard's all gray. My hair's all gray. We're in the dark now, so you can't see it too much. But yeah, the beard's coming in all gray. But my wife hates it, but yeah, I pinged around. I never stayed in the military. I never stayed in one place more than 2 years. I bounced around. So in my 10 years, I went to 5 different places. Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, you can see mine's, it's dark on the sides a little bit, but I need to trim it up. It's getting a little raggedy. But I love it. I'm letting it grow as long as it can, just to annoy my wife, because that's what you do when you've been married for 15 years or more. You do whatever you can to annoy him. She's on a weight loss kick. She's looking good, actually. She's dropped 10 pounds. She's feeling a lot better. So she's going through the big old menopause. It's kicking her ass. So she's trying to just get healthy and making me get healthy. I enjoy being fat. I'm lazy. I'm tired. I want to sleep. But yeah, she's pretty kick-ass, man. So I don't know. We stopped talking about RPGs, so but I appreciate it, Michael. Gwydion, brother, thank you so much for everything. Michael, if you're not on my Discord, jump on there. Oh man, I wish we don't have any good barbers here in Duluth. I trim mine up myself. I try to keep the sides trim and then the bottom kind of level. But yeah, I feel you, man. Good luck at the barber. There's nothing better than a good barber who can do your beard real nice, man. So I envy you. Peace and hair grease, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for engaging. It was a lot of fun. If you're not on my Discord, hop over there and jump on the Discord. You can find me on YouTube as Mr. Mean Speaks if you're not already following me there. And, we have a very active Discord. We talk about tabletop RPGs all the time. Other than that, peace and hair grease. Thank you, everybody. This will go live on YouTube probably tomorrow morning because I think I'm going to go crawl in bed and call it a night and get up early tomorrow. Spring cleaning. So we're going to tear the house apart and clean up stuff and get ready for summer. See you in some crater in Moonbeam. Hell yeah, man. Sounds good, Michael. All right, guys. Thank you so much. As always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.